Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the original Jeek podcast. We are your hosts, Rockinmrmagic
and UniqDNA.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad to have you back. It's been too long. We apologize. Really, truly apologize for being this long. But we've been pushing out the content that we hope you've been watching. Please follow us on Twitter at Jeek Nation. Check us out on Facebook at Jeek Nation. And, of course, on YouTube at Jeek Nation. Yeah. We put out some new video content that we hope you're enjoying. We've gotten some good feedback on some of our Who Did It Better videos. Please comment, like, subscribe, and if you've got suggestions on what videos you want to see next, topics you want to hear in the podcast, comment us, add us, let us know. And we want to interact with you, and we want you to participate in many ways. Even if you eventually maybe want to be a guest on the show, on any of our shows, on Trailer Talk, on the podcast, we're open. We've had people on that are just our homies that dig the same stuff too. So we're not special. We're not elites. We want you in. So definitely let us know. So tonight's podcast, we got a couple topics. Some of these are older topics that we really want to talk about. Some of these are a little more current. So we're going to start with a little current news about movies. We're going to stay in the film realm a little bit more than normal on this podcast. So first thing, Jamie Foxx is our new Spawn.
I heard nothing about this, so I'm in shock.
I'm shocked too. Like I got nothing wrong. I got nothing against Jamie. I like Jamie Foxx. Ain't nothing wrong with Jamie. But Michael Jai White's still here, man.
Yeah.
Michael Jai White is still in great shape. Now he's not a great actor, but do you need to be a great actor to play Spawn?
Would you say that he's not a great actor?
Oh, I would definitely
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely has like a one track.
He's an action star. I mean, let's keep it 100. Keep it 100. He is an action star. Just like most action stars, they can't act. They can do action movies. Like Chuck Norris, he's an action star. Are you going to have Chuck Norris do a romance movie or do a drama? No, because he's an action star. You're not going to have Scott Adkins do, a rom-com. You're not going to have Donnie Yen do a drama.
True.
There are certain people that are action stars. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the genre he fits in. I like Michael Jai White. I would not want to see him do anything but that because that's what he's great at. He looks great. He did a great job in Exit Wounds. He had
this little cameo in what movie was that? Not movie. It was a TV show recently, actually. The Flash, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah. Was it The Flash?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've seen much since season 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was one of those movies. It was definitely a DC TV show.
Okay. That's news to me.
Actually, it might have been Arrow.
Oh, I didn't see it then. That's trash.
Yeah, I stopped watching Arrow. I think after season 2.
Does anybody still watch Arrow? Please, someone let us know. Does anybody still watch Arrow? No, for real. Is anybody still watching it?
I need to know.
Because I ain't watching it.
Oh man, I don't know what happened. It started out okay.
Yeah, let's not go into that. I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. Okay.
Okay, well, let me just say. Okay, let me say. It started off.
Jamie Foxx and Spawn.
Yeah. All right. Well, we won't talk about Arrow. Okay, Jamie Foxx and Spawn. Yeah. So I didn't even have an. I think I did hear that they were making a Spawn movie, but it wasn't even on my radar like that. Usually I'm on top of these things, but I had no idea.
I didn't know they were so close to casting. I heard the rumblings that you had, but I didn't know we were talking about casting already.
Yeah, because they were talking. Everybody's been talking about Phase 4, Marvel Phase 4. Who's going to be, who's going to be the next, set of lineup of stars? And obviously we got Captain Marvel, but that's the only thing we heard. We know Black Panther's got to go for at least a couple more movies.
Right.
Spider-Man's probably going to go for a couple more movies. But
that makes sense.
Other than that, nobody really said anything about, the rest of
the rest of them, their deals are pretty much run through. There's been rumblings about a Black Widow solo movie.
Right.
Uh,
But you know,
yeah,
I mean, just in general, Phase 4 was like, okay, you know, like Phase 1, 2, and 3, we had to line up 10 years in advance.
something like that.
You know,
yeah.
I
It was
mean,
date, and now we're just like,
yeah, we
yeah,
were
who
like,
knows?
okay, we knew everything is coming. We knew all the way up to Black Panther. We knew when
Yeah,
Black Panther was coming out.
that's true.
So yeah, but this time, and well, you haven't seen Infinity War yet, so I'm not gonna
Yeah,
allude to that.
don't ruin that, please.
But
Please.
yeah, I'm assuming that the reason why they're keeping Phase 4 a secret is because of what happened in Infinity War. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So I think after Infinity War 2 comes out, or whatever they're gonna call it,
Yeah.
I think then we'll see, you know, what's the lineup for Phase 4.
Okay.
And but yeah, I said all that to say I had no idea. I remember I saw something about it, but I didn't even know that they had greenlit it. It was just like everybody was like, it would be great to have a Spawn movie. It would be great to have a new Blade.
Yeah, it went really fast. Like, constant green light to cast like real quick.
So yeah, I mean it's cool. I think it'll be cool.
But what do you think about Jamie as Spawn? Like, to me, I think of Jamie Foxx, and not just as a comedian, because he's done Grammy. He was great as Ray, and he's done great films. That one he did with RDJ when he was like the whatever blind cello player or whatever.
Yeah,
like I forget that. It was a good movie.
Got the name of it, but yeah,
I forget the name of it too. But it was a good film. Like Jamie is very versatile, a lot more versatile as an actor than I ever thought he would be. So my pickups to Jamie for that. But I don't think action when I think of Jamie Foxx. I think of the movies that are kind of action like that he was in that were just straight garbage, like Miami Vice. You know,
Miami Vice was terrible, but wasn't he in a
Stealth? Garbage.
Stealth was trash.
Yeah. But they just, I think of things that have action in them, and Jamie Foxx.
Last Kings? No. Kings.
Three Kings. Trash.
3 Kings.
Trash.
I thought it was alright. It was decent. I wouldn't say it was trash. It was
trash.
It was B-lists. It was. I mean, it's, you know, he's no Denzel when it comes to action movies, but
thank you. it was not as trash as Stealth,
right?
Or Miami Vice,
right?
But it wasn't good either. You know, like him in action, I just can't see it. I can't see him being dark enough to be Spawn. Like I just, you know, I don't see him angry enough to be Spawn. Michael Jai White, you look at that brother, he look angry. He's just there. He's mean mugging. Like he just looks angry.
Right.
You know? And not that I'm stuck to Michael Jai White because he played Spawn originally, because you can get anybody to do it, but
the original Spawn wasn't all that great anyway. No,
it wasn't that great of a film. It was good, but it wasn't great, and it definitely could use a reboot. You know, especially with the technology that we have, available to us now. Right. I definitely think it's deserving of a reboot.
And the writing has gotten way better for Marvel movies in general.
Well, I mean, it's going to be more McFarlane, obviously, but we'll see where that goes. But McFarlane seems to be on board with Jamie, so I put a little trust in Todd. He's very creative about his property, very protective about his creative properties, and who he visions can do the role. So that gives me some hope, but I don't have a lot.
So do we think this is going to be an origin story, Spawn? Because then I could.
That's a good question.
If it's an origin story Spawn, there's not a lot of action per se. So Jamie could play that role a lot better than full on, Spawn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, but if it's an origin story, then I'm gonna keep it 100. That sounds really boring.
It does sound really boring.
That sounds really boring. That sounds like a really boring movie. Like it's not a very exciting origin story at all. That sounds like a really boring movie. And I'm like, Jamie, I don't know if you can pull that off and keep me interested for 90 minutes or more with an origin story for Spawn. Like that is going to be really dull and dry.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does sound boring. Like I thought, as I was saying it, I was like, that probably isn't a good idea.
No, that's not a good idea.
But then, I mean, like at this point, and I hate to say this because I hate becoming a fanboy of anything. That's just my nature. I intentionally avoid being a fanboy. It's hard for Marvel to mess up anything.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now they got the Midas touch. They just bop, go.
Yeah,
bop, go.
They were like, you got to figure their worst movie was what, Ant-Man?
No, Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Trash.
Iron Man 3 was terrible.
Trash.
But Iron Man 3 was only really terrible because of freaking like the Mandarin. Everybody was like, "What?"
That was so bad.
I think if they just stuck with the original Mandarin, it wouldn't have.
Yes.
I don't know why I still don't know why they made that decision.
Nobody knows why. I don't think Marvel knows why. I don't think actors know why. It was trash. It was a bad movie. Bad call, bad directing, bad acting, bad casting, and like not that what's his name? Ben something.
The guy that played Mandarin.
Yeah. Excellent actor. Yeah, excellent actor. But just not the right casting whatsoever. Like, and that's what I'm afraid with Jamie. I'm just afraid Jamie, who deserves his accolades, may be miscast here. Like but I have that same way about Brie Larson as Larson or Lawson, whatever her name is, as Captain Marvel. I look at her, I don't see Carol Danvers. However, it's not her fault. I will give Brie this. No woman alive can measure up to the stigma of Carol Danvers. She's portrayed and drawn to, quote unquote, perfect for anyone to actually look at somebody and say, that's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But
I thought the same thing about Gal Gadot too. When they first cast her, I know we jump into DC, we jump in genres, companies, but I thought the same thing about her, and I was like, no way, she can't. Nah.
Well, see,
off.
I think
because I remember having this conversation. We were like,
we've talked about this before.
Yeah, we were like,
because she's a little too skinny, but also I don't remember if I showed you the picture. The woman they originally cast for the movie, to me, looks a lot better as Wonder Woman than Gal does.
Right.
But I don't think she's half the actress.
No.
But she looks phenomenal as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but then I saw Wonder Woman and I was like, she pulled it off.
She pulled it off. She did a good job.
Yeah. She
did a very good job.
Even you think Scarlett
Johansson's been very good
as who would have thought she would be a great.
I can't say great because she's not great at being Russian. Okay, that part is horrible.
They totally just I don't know how they got away with it though, because nobody really points that out that she's
except for like hardcore nitpickers like me. I'm like, wait, she don't sound Russian at all.
Right.
But hint of an accent.
As far as her chemistry on set with the other heroes.
Oh, it's excellent. She's
her
an
action
excellent
scenes.
actress. Oh yeah,
everything. I'm like, I did not expect that from you.
The only knock on Scarlett is the accent. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only knock on her.
And I respect her for she didn't even try.
Well, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's better to not try and botch it than just be like, you know what, I'm going to talk normally because I can't do a Russian accent. So why even try?
Yeah. Right.
But, I have more respect for them going that route than trying to have her do a bad Russian accent.
Yeah. I respect her for that.
Because we will be ripping them if they had her do some terrible Russian. I'm Natasha, and I'm going to do this from Mother Russia. Like that would have been horrible.
Yeah,
like no.
Bad. But yeah. So I don't know. I think there's hope for Jamie and Spawn. But I'm not exactly convinced because even when he played like Electro,
I did not like his Electro, and that. Yeah, I don't want to diss him, but it was not.
Yeah.
He's just not an action guy.
But that's why I said because the origin part of Electro, he did really well because that fits him.
It fits. Well, but it's boring. It's
Yeah.
simple. It's simpler acting. It's not action acting. He's not an action dude.
Right.
You know, there's some people who shouldn't. Now you have your rare breeds who can do action and romance and rom-com, like Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
You know, rare breed. You know.
Yeah, Bruce can do everything.
Denzel, rare breed.
Will
you know,
Smith.
Will Smith.
Even though he's a terrible Deadshot, but okay.
Well, he wasn't terrible, but you know, he was Mike Lowry, Deadshot.
That's what I'm saying.
Mike Lowry.
He was terrible as Deadshot.
Unfortunately, they didn't write Deadshot to be Deadshot.
But yeah, overall, he can.
He can do both. You know, just that's a special breed. Not many people can do it. Can pull it off. You know,
I can't take Jamie seriously yet.
Like Don Cheadle, when Don Cheadle did that action movie, I mean, you know, Traitor. I support it because I'm a big Don Cheadle fan, but
I thought Traitor was all right.
It was okay. But Don should not be no action star. That's not, you know.
Plays a decent War Machine, better than Terrence Howard.
But he's playing War Machine. How is he? What is he really doing?
He's yes sir, no sir.
Yeah, he's in the thing like this, and all you see is his face. I'm flying dead stick, Tony. I'm flying dead stick. I've got no control. Like that's it. Like that's not hard, you know.
But I think Traitor. I don't think Traitor was his fault. I think Traitor was the writing.
Traitor, it was partially right. I'm not. It wasn't terrible.
It was
passable.
The whole story just wasn't.
It was a bad story. Yeah. He redeemed what the movie was. Like if he
did great. I mean, that wasn't really action, but he did great in Ocean's 11. Yeah,
Ocean's 11. Yes, Ocean's 11 is tailor made for somebody like him with his versatility as an actor, as a comedian. Like he's great with that. He was great in Boogie Nights.
Yeah,
he was great now. Like he's fantastic. Just action related stuff is just not done. Even when he tried to play basketball, when he played Earl the Goat Manigault.
Well, that was just a bad idea altogether.
I'm like, yo, Don,
he doesn't even look like he plays.
We know you can't play ball, brother. We know you ain't balling out there. So, like, yeah, I mean, some guys look good. Some guys can play. Denzel, again, you know,
right.
Obviously looked amateurish against Ray Allen, but you could tell Denzel has athleticism. You know, some guys just don't translate. Now, I forget the name of the movie. Was it Rebound? I forget the name of the movie. But the GOAT movie that John did, at least all the other actors couldn't play ball either. So everybody looked just as bad as he did.
True.
You know, so that at least redeems it. But
right.
All right, so being that we've thrown DC into this conversation a little bit, let's talk about the new Gods, which is going to be directed by Ava DuVernay. I'm a little excited about this because I think this is a bold move by DC to pull out very non-mainstream characters to be in this film.
I think that's what they got. I think that's the route they got to go.
They have to because they can't. They're losing the mainstream. Everybody knows these heroes in this film war. They crashed and burned with Green Lantern. Yeah. The Batman's lately was Batfleck, Batman vs Superman.
Right.
Wonder Woman was good, not great, but very good.
It was the best of.
It's the best that they put out.
DC movie so far. Yeah.
Right. The Supermans have been just a travesty of disappointment.
First one wasn't terrible. I know you don't like him because he's Canadian.
Oh, he's not Canadian. He's British. But that's not the point. Cavill looks amazing. Like, that dude looks like Superman. Outside of Christopher Reeve, that is the next dude I looked at and said, that is freaking Superman right there.
No, you didn't. I have Instagram evidence.
What?
Said you were like, no, the suit's too shiny, and he's.
Don't talk about him. I'm not talking about.
And I hate him.
The suit is too shiny. I'm talking about him, not the suit. Cavill himself. If Cavill's standing there, you know, in a regular shirt or shirtless, whatever, he's
definitely built
like Superman.
Yeah,
the suit was way too shiny.
He's got the hair. He's got
the hair, the whole nine. My man looks like he was cut.
He's got the chiseled jaw. He's got the whole thing going.
The whole look. He's got the look. The delivery, that's a whole nother ball game right there.
Well,
But he's got the look.
Superman doesn't really have personality anyway. I mean, let's even looking at the comics, he never really had personality.
Well, yeah, I mean they're trying to give him some more, but
I think he nailed it.
Hey, you're boring and really whack. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm British.
Just stand there with the
post
and say,
I mean, I'm a little spoiled by Christopher Reeve trying to give his own, unique spin to the film, and he did a great job at least making Clark Kent be really super goofy and nerdy between him and being Superman. So the brooding was too much for these Superman movies because we're used to seeing Batman brooding all the time. We don't see Superman brooding much. Yeah. So that was part of the problem.
That was a little.
It was off-putting.
Okay.
So, but I think you're right. When it comes to where DC needs to go, if they want to really contend, is go to those lesser-known heroes that they can really work with, introduce these characters to the mainstream, and New Gods is a great start, in my opinion.
And then nobody goes in with expectations. Like when you go in with this, just like we said, you go in with Superman, and we're like, oh, it's too brooding, it's too depressing, it's too dark,
right?
And it's like, it's only because we don't know anything else. We only know the other side of Superman,
Or we've seen so many renditions that we have now, because I'm sure people of a certain age before George Reeves, and then we've got Christopher Reeve, and then we have the Brandon Routh or Bruce or however you pronounce his name movie, and then you got the Tom Welling fans from Smallville.
Right.
So it's like,
you got the animated series.
The animated series, yeah. So it's like, which Superman is the best one? Which one do you prefer? Then, poor Henry Cavill's like, I'm going to ruin it.
Just doing what they tell me.
I'm just doing what they tell me to do. Don't hate me. It's like, I don't hate you. We think you look great as Superman. Just, you can help Zack Snyder's writing and
smile a little bit more.
Yeah, smile a little bit more. Grumpy Superman.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say Martha? No, it don't even Martha thing. Like, is everybody's mom? Not every hero had a mom named Martha. Like, I know it was common back then, but come on, really?
Yeah, that was.
That would be like Luke Cage and Blue Marvel get into a fight and be like, "You've got to save." What's a good stereotypical black name?
Tyrone.
No, not Tyrone. It's got to be a mom. No, let's do that. You got to say Tyrone. Why did you say Tyrone? Because that's my daddy's name.
Right.
My daddy's name too.
I never knew my father.
Neither did I. We have the same father.
Right, exactly.
Like that's how stupid that sounded. Like, come on. Let's have let's mix it up. Somebody could be named Sarah or Jane or
But I gotta give it credit. I gotta give credit to the fact that I never realized that both their mother's names were Martha until the movie.
I thought I didn't realize that for years. I'm like, how ridiculous is that they have the same mom?
I never realized.
I didn't postulate that maybe they had the same mom, and then she just ran off. They would be with Clark Kent and to be with Jonathan Kent, and left poor Bruce alone in Gotham City. Like Bruce was a brat. Yeah, she remarried. Bruce was a brat, and she staged a hit and was like, "Okay, you can go, but I ain't gonna be dead. I'm gonna run off and go live on the farm."
Right. Yeah. I fake my death.
I fake my own death. And Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent are really Thomas and Martha Wayne. That's what it is. That's what it is. They ran off. They're like, Bruce, you're a bad kid. We're going to leave you with the butler. We're going to run off, fake our own deaths. That's what it is. I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that
name? He's never going to live that down.
So terrible. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Batman. Thanks so much for that wonderful piece of acting.
So
anyway, trying to be hopeful.
New Gods,
trying to be hopeful about DC's future films.
I think
New Gods has a lot of potential.
like I said, I think this is what they got to do. This is the only thing that can save the franchise, the cinematic universe.
Yes.
Is they gotta have just people that nobody's ever heard of, or majority of people never heard of, and just get really good directors, and you just want to see it because it's like, oh, you know, this director's directing it. The Russo brothers are directing it. I gotta go see it.
Well, that's what they did with one, because Ava's hot right now.
Right.
Ava's really hot right now. And then that's what also they're doing with the second movie. They got Spielberg to direct Blackhawk.
Right. Same thing.
Same thing. Very low level, not a big name superhero. If you're a comic nerd, you know who it is. But if you're not, who's seen Blackhawk on any show? I can't remember a single Blackhawk sighting in any animated stuff. I can't even.
I barely remember Blackhawk from the comic books.
But see, exactly. You know, not a mainstream character. I think that's a fantastic direction for them to go. It's smart. It's really smart because there's so many unheralded characters that they have that you can really just tap into and build up the universe. To then try to maybe phase back into your bigger names once you've gotten a winning formula down.
Right.
You know, and plus, I think if they do what Marvel and Netflix have been doing, because Daredevil is a B-level hero, as is Luke Cage, as is Jessica Jones, you know, as is Iron Fist. With the exception of Iron Fist, that was terrible. You know, they've did a good job.
Iron Fist is terrible because
Finn Jones is terrible. Finn Jones is You were great in Game of Thrones. I don't know what happened. You sucked. Period. And also the Punisher. Punisher's a B-level hero.
For the most part, yeah.
He's a B-level hero. He's not an A hero. He's a B-level hero.
He's an anti-hero.
But he's B-level as far as exposure and people knowing who he is. He's B-level. He's not a Spider-Man and Captain America. He's not a top shelf level hero as far as recognition.
Fair enough.
You know, anybody walking the street, whether they're in the comics or not, they've heard of Captain America, they've heard of Spider-Man, they've heard of Batman, so they know who those characters are. Most people weren't aware of Punisher, Daredevil, Luke Cage. Those are still very new characters to a lot of people. So,
I think Punisher has some mainstream because
of the movies
that they've done.
Yeah, they were terrible movies.
They were terrible, but it still gives them exposure.
But the thing is, like, it gives exposure, but it gave exposure to people like us who read comics. Because most people don't remember that Dolph Lundgren did a very, very bad Punisher movie.
You know, it's funny. It came on. I think it came on FX or something the other day. I was like, oh my god, I forgot how terrible this is.
Why would you air that? Why? Who's asking for that to be aired? Nobody.
I guess this is a slow day for them. I don't know. They're just like,
pay for the rights to air that.
Like, it's a slow day. Let's just.
Oh my god.
But anyway.
Okay, FX. We're seriously questioning your.
I don't think I'm not sure it was FX. Don't quote me on the.
Okay, I'm sorry, FX. I take it back. Whatever network decided to air that movie, seriously doubting your skills right now. I haven't seen it on TV since UPN. It's the last time I saw that movie on TV.
It might have been USA. Now that you said UPN,
USA slipping through. All right.
But yeah, I'm excited for it because, like you said, Ava's hot right now. She's doing her thing. You know, her movies have been, they've been hitting.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. I haven't like. New Gods wasn't one of my favorite comic books or anything, but I knew a little bit about it. So
yeah, I mean the characters are interesting. I don't know anybody that says New Gods is their favorite, but it's an interesting story. It's interesting though.
Yeah.
But no one says. Most people don't say Daredevil is their favorite.
That's true too.
B-level heroes, B-level, as far as recognition, but compelling content that you can really work with.
Daredevil never really have. I think and now that we're talking about it, I think the issue with DC movies is they don't have really stories to tell. Besides like Batman.
Right. Well, but that's why New Gods is a good choice because very interesting stories to tell.
Right.
And DC has stories to tell. They just like regurgitate the same stories over and over and over again.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, right? Like, what is their drive? Like, what's their motive? Their driving force? You look at like
They did a good job with Wonder
Look
Woman.
at Hal Jordan, right?
Okay. Well, Hal's boring. Okay.
Yeah.
Hal's a boring dude.
Hal boring. You look at Superman.
Okay, Hal and
Superman's boring.
Hal and Superman are very similar because they're driven by duty. That's what they're driven by.
Right.
Wonder Woman also driven by duty, but she did a good job showing her passion as far as her responsibility, seeking out, her identity, not realizing that she was actually the God Killer and not the sword. So that obviously mostly duty, but a little bit more of a personal journey in that, as well as just duty. But Hal and Superman are just, I'm duty bound. I'm going to protect. That's what I do.
I'm the best pilot in the world now. I'm the Green Lantern.
Now I'm duty bound to protect. That's yes.
Superman. I'm an alien. I grew up on a farm, and now I'm gonna save the world.
You see,
I mean, I love DC. I love the Flash is one of my favorite characters. Green Lantern's one of my favorite characters.
Well, see, DC's characters for me,
stories are their backstories are just weak.
Well, it's funny because DC is outside of Batman.
Outside of Batman,
I've always liked their B-level characters more than most of their A ones. Like Wonder Woman to me was okay.
I never really liked Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she was okay. Yeah. I dug Aquaman. I dug Flash.
I didn't really like Aquaman either. I was like,
I liked Aquaman because they kept on dissing him. Like, yo,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's why I never like. I was like,
okay. Sleeping on him. Like, yo, this dude is OP, man. Like, why y'all sleeping on him? Like, don't. Especially when they cut his hand off and they grew the beard on him. And they got Arthur really pissed off and started killing folk. I'm like, yeah, okay, my man Arthur. They made Arthur an OG. But I was like, okay.
Yeah, but he was pretty weak.
Before that,
but at least he had a story. I'll give you that. He had a story.
He had a story. He had the kingdom to take care of.
Like, Atlantis and the uprising and the whole thing. At least he had a story.
And when he murked somebody, he murked him, and he did it dirty. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna close the sea around you. I'm gonna call a shark to come eat you," or like he wasn't playing when he was taking care of folk.
Flash had a story.
Flash had an interesting story.
His mom getting killed by.
Surprised her name ain't Martha either.
What's
your mama's name? Everyone sitting around the table. What's your mama's name? My mama's name Martha. Martha.
Why did you say that name?
Is everybody's name Mama's name Martha around here? Yeah, we're all main storytellers here. Everybody got the same mama's name.
So
reverse Flash killing his mom.
Reverse Flash killing his mom, and then his dad getting wrongfully imprisoned. That's a story.
That's a story.
We
got a surprise that his
Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter, John.
His backstory actually is pretty cool. Like
his backstory,
the whole
undertones
of racism and all that. That's pretty.
Yeah. I mean,
he's basically a black man in America.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's just on Mars.
The one book, I forget which one it was, where they blamed him for something, and Wonder Woman starts fighting him, and he was like, "You're siding with Superman because he looks like you. He's an alien. He's not from here. You have no reason to trust him. But the only reason why you like him and you believe in him is because he looks like you." I like John, but his early stuff was boring. When they kind of rebooted the story in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, that's when Martian Manhunter really became, really cool to me. I do dig John Johns. I do like him. But he's also below tier. He's not top tier.
True.
A lot of their middle tier people have the really compelling stories to tell. That it's outside of Batman. Their top ones just they're dull.
Yeah,
they're really good characters.
I'm interested to see what happens with all this.
I'm interested to see what Spielberg does because we're talking about a completely different type of storytelling compared to someone like Ava.
That's true too.
On a guy who has a way different vision, and I can't imagine a film that Spielberg has done that's close to the superhero genre.
I know he's done so many though. So that's true. It's hard to point out.
I think Spielberg. I think E.T.
Jurassic Park.
Like I think of these epic,
The bigger ones,
Yeah, these are big blockbusters, and I'm like, I can't think of him doing something that seems so common as a superhero movie. You know, something that not common, but like, not this big artistic endeavor. You know.
But then, I mean, he took that. I guess, like, I think that's what he. I mean, because he's already established himself, so I think a lot of it is him just taking on these roles now. Yeah, like he took on Ready Player One, which I still haven't seen, but I heard it was amazing.
That's what I heard too.
So, and that's a big endeavor right there, because you want to talk about people coming in with expectations.
Right.
The whole book of Ready Player One is 80s nostalgia. So
yes,
everybody's going in there like, I want to see everything 80s. Like
I must see.
And if I don't see it, this movie,
we're gonna burn it down. I must see everything 80s, including Stranger Things, because it mentions the 80s, even though it's not 80s itself. Yeah, everything.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. And they did a great job teasing it in the trailer, so I give them that. They did a great job there. Speaking of different from the 80s, we're going to transition to a little bit of sports talk here. Becky Hammon, if you folks don't know, Becky Hammon is a former WNBA player who recently has been on the coaching staff for the San Antonio Spurs under head coach Greg Popovich. She was not the first, but the first full-time assistant coach to be a female in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And she has garnered interest amongst head coaching vacancies in the NBA. Even though the Milwaukee Bucks did fill her position, they did interview her. My Detroit Pistons have been rumored to be possibly considering her as well. Even though Dwayne Casey apparently is their front runner, which I don't know how I feel about that. But it begs the question. Now, I personally, I think a lot of this is like window dressing. Like a lot of these teams are going to interview her, and I don't think many of them are really actually considering hiring her. But she's being interviewed, and with good reason. So my question to you is, how far away are we from having a female head coach in the NBA?
I don't think it's that far. I think, I think it's overdue. I mean, NFL's done it to some extent. Nancy Lieberman was an assistant for the Kings before. I forget the woman's name, was working for, I think it's the Chiefs. She's on that staff of. She was the Chiefs or the Cardinals?
Yeah, the Cardinals. You're right. Cardinals. I knew it was something red. It was a red team. The Cardinals. Yeah.
Red. Anything but good old blue and silver.
Which my basement used to be when I bought this house. This guy painted.
Yeah. I actually thought about when I was painting. I actually thought about doing that. I was like, should I go with the blue and silver? But the wife overruled.
Yeah, I can't blame her for that. So, okay, you think it's a little overdue. Like my thing is, if it's overdue, who should have been coaching as a?
Well, I think it's just in general. I mean, I think that's still one of those markets where it's still a lot of untapped potential that nobody's been given a shot. Just because of the country, all the controversy around a female coach in a male-dominated sport. Well, actually, all male sport,
right?
Or league, I should say, because there is a female.
Female league.
There's a female league, but it was just kind of like, oh yeah, if you want to be a coach, you go to the WNBA, But I think those barriers are starting to be broken now. So I think, like I said, it's overdue. It's time for somebody to step up, and because there's a women head coaches, there are women coaches that are probably better than some of the men.
I'm out. Okay.
I would probably say most of them are, because as a woman, you got to think strategically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like we said before,
you're not dominating.
Knows better than a lot of the men.
Exactly, because they're not dominating they're not. Most of the men just come in like, yeah, I can shoot threes, or I'm LeBron and I can just drive down the lane. And so when they transition to coaching, they go in with that same mindset. You have very few players that transfer over, player coaches that transfer over well.
Very true. Especially like you think of superstar coaches,
right?
They Magic, terrible to coach. Isaiah Thomas, okay as a coach.
Yeah, he was.
He was okay. He wasn't great, but he was okay. Except for Bird, he was a great coach. Bill Russell did not. Well, Bill Russell was a good player coach, but after a while, he was not that good of a coach.
Yeah.
A lot of superstar players really can't be good coaches. My only concern for females coaching in the NBA, and I think you're right, there are some women who are definitely qualified. I can think of Dawn Staley would definitely be qualified to coach in the NBA. Coach Stringer, definitely. I mean, if she was younger, probably would be vying for a position like that. Crap. I forget. Coach Summit, if she would go with us, definitely. There's definitely some coaches who could do it. My concern for the women is, while the X's and O's, they could definitely be dominant over. Can they? Not that they can't, but because when you play the game a certain way for so long, your mindset gets kind of stuck in that way of looking at the game. You view the game differently. Zeke coached the way point guards look at the game because he was a point. Larry Bird coached the Pacers differently because he saw the game from his lens.
Right.
But when you're a woman and you see the game through your lens as a female player, how do you coach to a audience that plays at a different dimension? Because everything that they're coaching pretty much is going to be X's and O's. It's going to be very linear. It's not going to be three-dimensional where you have to start coaching above the rim. I'm not saying they can't do it, but that's going to be a difficult transition mindset-wise because we're in this age of hyper-athletic players who are not as skilled and not as fundamentally sound as your players of the 90s, 80s, and the past. So while they're more athletic, they're not more fundamentally sound or linear in their X's and O's because they are so hyper athletic.
Fair.
So when you are linear in your mindset, how do you transition that into a hyper athletic 3D mindset that you're coaching these guys, you're trying to catch oops and doing all this above the rim type stuff in today's game? That's going to be a challenge.
But I think do you have to coach that, right? Like but I mean, when you think about it,
you have to, because if you don't, then you're leaving a lot of your the advantage of your team on off the table. You're hurting your squad if you coach just X's and O's and you don't coach to the 3D part of the game and utilize that. Then you're coaching a women's team that are just men. They're going to be running a very on the ground offense and movements where they need to be more than that. Because right now in today's game, you can't survive if your feet are on the ground.
But how much of let's just look at it like this: how much do you think LeBron's or even Kevin Durant or Westbrook? How much do you think their hyper athleticism is being coached, and how much of it is just on the fly basketball IQ, and they're using their athleticism along with their basketball IQ? Because I mean, you can coach around LeBron, but can you really coach those type of plays that he's making? Can you really coach the type of plays that Westbrook's making? Those plays are just they're making those plays on their own.
Well, it's a lot of I'm not gonna know what you're saying. The creativity definitely there's a lot of creativity there as far as on the player.
Right.
It depends on the coach and the system, because when you're talking about Westbrook under Scotty Brooks, there's a lot of coaching around that athleticism, around him, Durant, and Harden. Where under Billy Donovan, those restraints, that structure isn't there. So it's part of that's depending upon the coach, because some coaches will say, I'm going to take advantage of this guy's athleticism. Right. That's what Jason Kidd was trying to do with Giannis. I'm going to take advantage of this guy's athleticism. I'm going to coach around getting him the ball in these certain spots. I'm going to coach to getting him the ball in the air, getting him into certain positions.
Right.
Coaches will just be like, I want you, or they're more like Phil Jackson, where they're saying, okay, we're going to run this type of offense, but it's very natural, it's very flow. So you get in that, you start the movement, and then you let the instincts of basketball take over from there.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, because it's like, basketball has these peaks and valleys, right? So when you're in that high intensity that's just fast breaks and steals and all those different things. All of that seems like it's just instinct. And then when things slow down and you can't get Westbrook the ball anymore on his own, you know what I'm saying? Then that's when the coaching, I think, comes in. That's when you're like, all right, now we got to run some plays, free up the offense, pick and rolls and different things, screens, all these things to free him up, to get him the ball, like to your point, like you said, to get him the ball in those certain spots to make those plays.
Right.
So I think –
and my thought is just simply in those situations where the default in that coach's mind is going to be more ground-oriented, where it maybe should be above the rim more.
I guess.
Because sometimes that bounce pass she's thinking about may need to be an oop. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I
just think that's just going to be a challenge.
I think so, but I think like the players, I think they can make those calls. Like, all right, she said pass on the ball. She didn't say how. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I could be like, oh, you know what?
It depends upon how detailed it is. Because some coaches be like, I want you to hit him with the bounce pass here.
Well, yeah. Some coaches really want that granular.
They're that granular.
Take every step this way, but
right.
But then you're not playing. You're not really coaching to that player's potential because, like, you got a guy like Westbrook. You don't need to get granular with Westbrook. You just be like, listen,
I don't know. I need
you to be here. I need you to be here. I need you to be here. I just want you in these spots. How you get there and how the ball gets to you there doesn't matter to me. But I need you in that spot for that play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, but also and that's why I think there's going to be a bit of a challenge because that mindset has been growing in amongst NBA coaches for the past probably, let's say, 15 years. That's not the case in women's basketball.
That's true.
So the transition is my main concern. How long will it transition out of that mindset where you have to be that granular a lot of times in women's game because they don't have the hyper athletes. So you have to say, at this point, this type of pass, right here, you need to be here, here, and here, and here. Right. Which, to me, I think people more taking the Nancy Lieberman, Becky Hammon route, bringing them more into the organizations, making more female scouts, making more female assistant coaches will allow them to have that track then to change their mindset without jumping into a head coach.
Kind of mold them up.
Exactly. Exactly. Just to change that one small part of their mindset.
That's a fair assumption.
Thing that would really hamper a female coach that's obviously qualified, is that one different thing of everything's X's and O's, everything's linear, where now we've got to go 3 dimensions here.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah, I can see that where it could be a challenge because you're right. It is a mindset. It's something, especially if they're a player turned coach.
Exactly, like Becky.
Right.
Talking about a former point guard.
Right. She's gonna come in already. She's been balling her whole life.
Yeah.
And so there are some ingrained habits that are there.
Exactly.
But I think those are easy hurdles to overcome, especially when you're talking about NBA's 82 game season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After the first, couple months, you get out of those habits pretty quick, especially if you're not winning.
Well, anyone that's seen the movie Eddie, that goes real fast.
Right.
Yeah. So Whoopi Goldberg's in coach and probably do a better job. If you haven't seen the movie Eddie, it's cheesy.
You should see it.
You should see it. It's fun. It's cheesy. Whoopi Goldberg.
It's so 90s.
Yeah, it's so 90s.
It's so 90s.
The music dominated by Coolio. The Coolio soundtrack. It's fun. You got Mark Jackson plays pretty much himself as a point guard for the Knicks, and John Sally, Dwayne Schitzness, I think is how he's in there. Greg Ostertag, I believe, is in it too. Malik Sealy, R.I.P. Malik Sealy, played their best player, Stacey Patton. He had a cameo by Gary Payton and Anthony Mason in there too. I think John Starks made an appearance in there.
Yeah, he was in there.
Yeah, he showed up. Dennis Rodman had a nice little speaking role when he was still in San Antonio. That's how old we're talking. San Antonio Spurs, Dennis Rodman. Avery Johnson had a little argument with Whoopi in there too, and who else? a very interesting discussion about physics, space physics, about black holes with Olden Polynice playing for the Sacramento Kings. So really, really fun, campy movie. If you've seen it, very fun. If you're a basketball fan, you'll probably enjoy it just because it's basketball. But definitely see the movie Eddie. We're gonna have to. We might have to do a watch along and just watch Eddie with some commentary.
With some commentary.
Right. So staying on sports, the Supreme. This isn't breaking news. This is breaking-ish news. The Supreme Court has struck down the federal anti-sports betting laws. So now states have pretty much complete autonomy when it comes to deciding whether they're going to permit sports betting.
Mm-hmm.
This is huge.
This is big.
This is insane.
I actually was just reading about that. I think it was when it was announced.
Like,
I was reading on it.
Crazy big.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, there's so much packed in that one little sentence. Like, people that there's so much to entail. Because it's been legal for so long. Obviously, people have been still doing it while bookies are out there. But to have this be put in the state's hands, this can mean a lot of money for states. This can mean a lot of money for your DraftKings, your what's the other big one? No, I forget their name.
You got DraftKings. You got
what is their name? I forget. Y'all, they know who they are. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, your current big online, fantasy betting type games. But we're talking big dollars. We're talking a lot of money changing hands because people love betting over sports. It's just what people do. I hear it all the time at work. People like, hey, you want to put a bet on this game? Meaningless baseball games that have 190 games.
Oh yeah.
People putting meaningless bets on middle of the season. This is May. The season started in April. Like, come on. People are already betting on games of baseball. It's like, come on, really? But people do it. They it's what they do. So this means a lot of money.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's bothering me that I can't remember what the name of the
other. I can't believe I forgot it too. It's gonna drive me nuts. But Ron Artest, I don't know if his name is still officially Middle War Peace / Ron Artest recently made comments about how he does not like this ruling because of what he's afraid of what it will do to the game. He mentioned while he was attending St. John's, some bettors approached him about throwing a game, and that they would put $35,000 in his pocket to throw a game.
Right.
Now, FanDuel, that's it. You're right. FanDuel. Thank you.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but it was bugging me.
I
wasn't gonna be able to listen to you.
It was still going in my head too.
I wasn't gonna be able to pay one attention to one word you said until I figured it out, because I would have been sitting here the whole time like,
what's it called?
But the whole time,
what is it called? What's it called? That's okay. As we are out of that rabbit hole, Artest said that he was offered $35,000 to throw a game while at St. John's, and of course he didn't do it, but he was extremely tempted to. You're telling a poor kid from Queensbridge you're going to put $35,000 in his pocket to miss some shots on purpose. That's extremely tempting.
Right.
That's a reality that he did. He dealt with in the 90s. If you're going to make this legal, that is definitely going to increase the potential for people to be throwing games, the potential for even professionals to start throwing games, because the finances are just going to skyrocket. The money that can be made off these games is just going to go buck wild. So how do you combat potential corruption amongst this? Obviously, the federal government struck it down because they want their piece of the pie. It means obviously it's all about making money.
Right.
They're going to get
taxes.
They're going to get tax dollars from you. They're going to get tax dollars from the bookie. They're going to get tax dollars from the casinos. They're going to get tax dollars from the sport that you are watching. They're going to get their money. That's what it's about ultimately. But this can mean a lot more money for the general schmo who knows his game, whether it's baseball, football, hockey, whatever lucky person who decided to bet that the Las Vegas Golden Knights were going to be in the Stanley Cup, that person's making bank right now.
Yeah.
I think it was like $1 to $200 or something insane like that. Like that person is, those people are about to make some serious money.
Oh yeah. They're
like
making cash. Big cash.
Big cash. Like changing tax bracket cash. We're talking about here. We're not talking about winning $1,000. We are talking about thousands and thousands of dollars here.
Exactly.
So this could be, game changing, not only just that aspect, but now we're talking about increased capitalism. We're talking about, okay, this is legal now. So now my sports bar is going that I have. Now we're going to have gambling here now. So now we're going to take your bets here. Now any sports bar with half a brain is going to become a house to gamble.
Right.
The government, your state government is going to have to create. If they don't have a gaming board already, they're going to have to start one, and then they're going to have to issue our licenses to allow gaming. But if you are sports betting, but if you are a business owner, this is potential revenue for you, because you got people coming there to watch the game anyway. Why would you not be taking bets as well? Because the house generally wins anyway.
Right.
You would have somebody studying the Vegas odds, putting the lines out there. Even if you're just passing through the money and you're charging, $5 to handle everything, you're still making money, regardless, on every person that comes there to place their bet.
Right.
Like, you are going to make out. I can't imagine how many dollars this is going to generate.
It's going to be insane.
It's insane. Like, I'm taking it back. All I know is this, and I'll let you speak on it. They'll let Pete Rose in the freaking Hall of Fame now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just put the man in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Good God. Now you're going to make this okay for everybody? Let's stop beating the man up.
It's like when somebody said the other day, because they're trying to legalize. Well, the governor has already said that he wants to legalize weed in New Jersey, and they said, "So, are you going to let everybody out of jail?"
Right.
Because that was okay.
Oh yeah, well, the mayor of Bethlehem and the mayor of Allentown both said they want to decriminalize marijuana. So okay, so now you gonna let everybody out then, right?
Right.
They gonna have no records no more, right?
You gonna pull that off my record? Well, not my record, because I ain't have a record, but no records. But people that I know do have.
And we're not gonna go too deep into the political rabbit hole, because we try to keep it sports. But that's a great point. Like, when it comes to an infraction that was illegal, and now you're making it legal. Okay, so what do you do about those who did in the past? Yes, they shouldn't have done it. Of course, I did that. But there needs to be some removal of the punishment for the action that's no longer bad. Because now you're saying it's not bad anymore.
Right.
And I just think, give Pete Rose his due. The man knows more baseball. He's forgotten more baseball than most people even know.
Most people know.
Like, come on, put the man where he belongs. Call it a day. He didn't bet on his own team, so I don't care. I don't care what teams he bet on. That he didn't impact.
It shouldn't matter at this point.
It shouldn't matter at this point. He didn't impact the outcomes of those games. If he did, they'd see their point.
Right.
But, whatever. Like, come on, let's let it go. You got known racists in there. For goodness sake, you got Ty Cobb in there and people that done terrible things. Yeah, come on. I think Cobb like killed a dude in the stands one time or something like that. Like, come on, like, you got some really horrible people in your Hall of Fame, and you're gonna leave this dude out because don't even get me started.
Yeah.
But yes, big money. So, Jersey, obviously, within Atlantic City, has always had some gambling, stick to it. But tell me what you think this is going to do, at least especially in your state, when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was gonna, because like you said, Jersey has always had some gambling, actually a lot of gambling, because of Atlantic City and stuff like that. The sport. There was, I think,
I think it
I
was
mean,
the
I
only
was
place
never
you could
into
do
it, but I think you were allowed to do sports betting in Atlantic City too.
I think it was just a horse racing, just the ponies. If I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Anybody from Jersey that does the betting, let me know. But I think it's just.
No, I think it was sports too, but you couldn't bet on like the actual score or something like that. It was some weird, obscure rules. Like you can bet on other things, but not the score. If that makes any sense, like the winning team, like you can bet on.
You can bet on wins and losses, but
right.
You can't bet on the score. I guess to
Yes,
avoid
something like that.
avoid point shaving scandals.
Right,
Like
right. So it was like you can bet like so and so team's gonna win or whatever. But yeah, or Steph Curry's gonna make 35 threes this game, something like that.
Something like that. Okay.
But you couldn't bet on the actual like the outcome of the game because obviously you can fix that.
Right.
Or you can try to anyway.
So you can fix it. Yeah.
I was trying to be politically correct.
Forget that. You can fix it.
When are we ever politically correct?
Yeah, we ain't ever politically correct.
But yeah, so I it wasn't as much of a shock to me that that eventually it would become legal, especially after what was it 2 years ago, the whole DraftKings and FanDuel.
Oh yeah, that big legal mess. Yeah, they were in.
Yeah, it was a whole big legal mess, and the amount of money that they were making before all that happened.
Making big money.
And that was just fantasy leagues.
Yeah,
that wasn't even real. That wasn't even real. That wasn't even real. Real betting. That was
that's there's nothing real about that. That's all fantasy stuff.
And so once that happened, I was like, okay, so either they're gonna make fantasy league illegal, or they're gonna they're gonna have to legalize betting.
I tell you one thing. I tell you, I looked, but I don't think that they are. But the minute FanDuel and DraftKings become like publicly traded, I'm
in there.
I'm in there. All up in that. That's gonna be big dollars. I'm all up in that. Come on,
yes, sir.
Give me an IPO.
Right. I'm saving up money right now just for that.
Just for that.
What's
this IPO gonna be? Okay. Let's just set this aside. We gonna
right.
You better believe it.
I have my 10,000 ready.
Right. Get it all in that.
Yeah, but I still was shocked. Like I still was like, whoa, this is gonna be, because like I said, it popped up on my Google feed. You get the little suggestions, whatever. So I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. Had to go back and read it. But yeah, I think like you said, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge for sports. It's gonna be huge for just the people who are into gambling. Is going to be huge for the house, because the house always wins. So FanDuels and DraftKings and everybody else under the sun that's doing this, they're going to be making buku bucks. And yeah, like you said, the government's going to get their little piece. I don't know how they're going to tax it, but I'm sure they will.
Insanely, as they always do.
They'll probably they'll probably do it the same way they do lottery winnings and stuff,
which is an insane amount.
Which is insane. It's like 50%, but
it's like 40%. They tax like a bonus.
Yeah,
we're gonna take 40% of that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but still, I mean, I still like you figure like the big bettors. That's 40% of 2 million or whatever. Dropping the bucket.
Yeah, take that and bet it again anyway.
Yeah.
But this is my next bet.
So I mean, like I said, I think it's definitely going to do something for sports. Though I think it's going to bring a lot of the passion back into sports.
Mm-hmm.
Just because people are just going to be excited to watch, because we talked about this numerous times. Football is the no fun league, and it's getting less fun by the day now with this new which we didn't even talk about that, and I don't know if we're going to. We said we're going to be a political free show today.
We don't have time to go into that. Lord, we don't have time to go into that.
Yeah. So it's just getting worse. Baseball's always kind of been boring, except for the World Series.
The All-Star game of the World Series, like this is
All-Star, yeah.
The playoffs are exciting. The All-Star game,
playoffs are exciting, and the World Series is exciting.
And up and down, maybe the home run derby is exciting, or it's not.
Here and there, yeah.
Here and there.
Basketball is It's becoming predictable.
It's coming too predictable.
It's too predictable.
Well, we're in season 4 of Golden State.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have thought that Golden State and Cavs are going to do it again?
Especially since the Cavs should have lost the first round anyway.
Well, yeah.
Like, if they had another star in Indiana, LeBron would be home now.
Yeah. And if Kyrie had,
or if Kyrie or Hayward were there, but even then, like if they had another star in Indiana, LeBron will be in one of his LA homes, probably, picking out schools or stuff. I'm going to go to Philly. Who knows?
Yeah.
But here we are again.
I digress.
It's probably going to be another gentleman's sweep,
right?
They just don't have the people to match up with Golden State.
They barely made it through Boston.
Exactly, and Tatum yammed on him. Tatum yammed on Bron. I was like, snap. Tatum's. I hate to give props to new players, but Tatum is a special player, man.
Yeah. He's got something. I hope he keeps it up.
For real.
That's the scary part with like newer players is like they come out their breakout season and then they disappear. You're like, whatever happened to that guy? Remember he came from
you're talking about the Tyreek Evans effect.
Yeah. He came out of St. John.
He had his junior high rookie year, and then he hit on us. Where'd he go?
I think he.
I don't know.
Did he retire? He retired. Yeah,
I think he's overseas now.
Yeah.
He's playing in Israel or something.
Yeah, when they're playing with Iverson and.
No, Iverson was too proud. He couldn't do it.
I know. He had too much pride.
That man could be making money in China right now, but no, he's too stubborn.
We're not even gonna go there.
But all the money Marbury made in there. Come on, man. Come on.
But
all right. Well, speaking of money,
moving on.
Something that is interesting but insanely expensive, at least in my opinion, is the officially licensed PS4 controller that is for your pro level gamer. So if you are a PlayStation 4 player and you've been looking for that Xbox Elite style controller, Scuff Gaming has got you. You can get a PlayStation 4 controller that is officially licensed, customizable, and completely all about performance. It's got button remapping, side-mounted buttons, removable faceplate, 4-option paddles, the whole nine. There's a wired version that only costs $170. Only $170. And the wireless plus version, that's a mere $200. Would you pay $170 to $200 for a professional grade PS4 controller? Granted that the system itself costs $299.
Actually, the Pro though isn't it more than $299?
I think the Pro is $299.
Okay, I thought it might have went down. I don't know. I haven't been looking at it because I already got a PS4 and I ain't buying a new one. Not just for 4K.
Not again.
If it was for some other stuff.
4K, but
yeah,
I digress.
Yeah, but I mean, I had not heard about this, so I'm actually looking at it right now. I mean, there's some nice looking controllers. Don't get me wrong; these things.
Oh yeah, they look nice. They look dope.
But yeah, especially this carbon fiber collection is pretty hot. But I don't game enough for this. I guess if I was in a league or something.
Well, hey, you signed on last night, though. Hey.
Yeah, I did. I was.
Signed on last night. I was like, hold up.
I was getting some FIFA in.
Oh, see, there you go. See.
But yeah. I mean, if I was in a league or something, and I'm actually making money because, if you're in a league, then $140 is,
that's
nothing.
That's nothing
for what you're walking away with if you're that good.
Yeah.
Not to mention what this would do if it's even legal in the league. Some of these leagues ban those type of controllers.
That's true.
Yeah.
Some of you have to have a standard controller.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if I was in a league, yeah. Or if I just had money to burn and I'm like, oh, I want like this special PS4 with the matching control. Like I see these guys online do, like on YouTube and stuff. They got their gaming room with their special controllers and all that stuff. Like you most of them go to like D brand or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would probably go for it for something like that. But like I said, I don't game enough for that. In my younger days, oh yeah, I'll be all over this. 16, 17, 18, probably up till I was about 26. Yeah, I would have been like, yo, I'm getting that one, the red and black, because that's my favorite color. With the I'm gonna send my PS4 to D brand, and I'm gonna have the red and black, and you know, but and plus I was playing more than, I was batting and Call of Duty and NBA 2K and like every day. Come home from school straight to the game,
Exactly.
But so I would get my money's worth. This I'm not gonna get my money's worth out of this. I mean, like I got two controllers, right? One of them still, how it still has that like that dry grip, grip. You feel like it's not. It hasn't gotten smooth yet. Like after you use it for a while, it gets smooth.
Yeah.
Like one of my controllers still feels like it's brand new. Like it's still got that like that out of the mold feel to it.
Your hand greasy
right.
off yet.
Yeah. So I can imagine, and that was just a regular controller. So I can imagine with like this one. But then again, I guess maybe if I spent $140, I probably would use it more. Because I'd be like, I got to get my money's worth out of this.
Investment then.
But I mean, considering that the PS4, the regular PS4 controller is what, $60?
Yeah. You're talking about double to 2.5 times the cost.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's not bad. Taking into consideration that a regular controller is $60. So
no, I'll say this. If these had come out, because like the Sony pretty much announced that PS4 is at end of life.
So, they're winding down. Yeah, they got another 2-3 years left.
Right. So if this came out 2-3 years ago, where you invest $200 into a controller that you're gonna have for 5-6 years, that's one thing.
True.
That's one that makes sense. I can see the justification in spending that money on a controller alone. But we're talking 2-3 years left. And you're just
it's not worth it. Unless they're gonna go DualShock 4 in the PS5.
Which, who knows?
Who knows?
I don't see why, unless you're a gamer, big time gamer who's making some money, or you got a YouTube channel on gaming, you're making money. You're
right. I gotta be making money off of it somehow.
I gotta be making money. Like it's a
Twitch something.
Yeah, something. I love the hobby, but that's a pretty penny to pay for casual gaming.
But yeah, you're right. If I think it. Yeah, if this was when I bought my PS4 and the Pro was already out and all that, I probably would have got the PS4 Pro and I probably would have got one of those.
Yeah.
Because even when I bought my PS4, I was gaming a lot more then too.
Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I would have probably been like, oh yeah, $140. Yeah.
Whatever. Destiny that you left me high and dry, but we're not gonna go. We're not gonna talk about that.
I told you not to get it.
I'm not gonna talk about that.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, for a gaming league or something like that, definitely go for it. Why not? Xbox has been doing it for years with the Elite controllers, and they're about the same price.
Yeah. The Elite controllers are dope though.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah. And by the way, that was not an ad. You said that very much like an ad.
I did.
It did. It sounded like an ad.
I'm practicing for future.
Like I was just like, I'm listening to it. I'm like, I feel like I'm listening to like a podcast, like not my own podcast, but another podcast. And they're like, and now let's take a break.
I'll give pickups to another podcast. If you're a big wrestling fan, as I am, I listen to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson. So if I sounded addy, that's probably because I listen to too much of them, and they're constantly pushing ads on that show all the time.
That's like
MMA. Also, I'm practicing
MMA hour with Ariel Henley.
Someone I can't pronounce the name.
Yeah, but he because it's like all his are like 4 hours long.
Oh,
I used to think I used to think we went long.
You thought we rambled.
And then I started listening to the MMA hour, and I was like, whoa, this is not the MMA hour. This should be the MMA 5 hours.
Yes, it's
right.
half a day.
This should be the MMA part-time job, right?
Pritchard's show averages a good 3 hours. Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast is like 2 to 3 hours. A lot of these podcasts, they're a couple hours. So,
because I came from the
shorter form. There's probably going to be ones we're going to may go back to. I think we might have to just do maybe a separate show that we focus on our going down the rabbit hole and
long form show.
Our long form down the rabbit hole shows. Because apparently 3 hours is a normal podcast time frame. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, and I guess I get it because everybody's just like, you know what? Most people listen to podcasts at work or on their drive or whatever. So 2-3 hours is no big deal. But
exactly. So
I was like, wait, I've been listening to this thing for 3 days and I still ain't finished yet.
Right? I will start listening to something to wrestle with, and I'll fall asleep. It'll be
exactly. And then I got to go back.
Wait, where was I? I was like, last I remember it was like an hour and 20 minutes right there.
Yeah. So, So, I mean, nobody's complaining about us and our rants, but yeah.
Not yet.
Go out there and check out some of these other podcasts and then come talk.
Yeah. If you say
we did you guys a favor.
We did y'all a favor. You think we ran because those cats we ran. Okay, they go off on. Okay, we go off on some other topics too, but
they go way off, and they don't care either. They're just what were we talking about again? It doesn't matter.
I forgot. It doesn't matter. We'll go back to our format sometime. We'll fix it.
Yeah. But yeah, I said all I had to say. That sounded very addy. Very good though. Very professional.
I'm practicing.
But I was sitting there. I was just
one day we're going to be pushing ads here. Sorry.
Yeah. I was like,
we need funds to keep this thing going. So
I was like, the Scuff game and call him. And he didn't tell me.
No, if it did, I'll be saying that we were going to play, a Jeek Nation Scuff version. That'd be dope. But no, unfortunately, not yet.
I was like, oh snap! They called him. They didn't tell me.
Like, hey, so we would have
collected an ad revenue without me.
Never wouldn't do that. Well, speaking of revenue, quick hitter last year. Netflix has been making a lot of revenue. They are really highly valued right now, and
I thought they were operating at a loss though.
They were, and they were getting more seed money, but right now they're making money hand over fist. Who knows what their back end costs are, but they're bringing in revenue. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know what their costs are yet.
Yeah.
But they are continuing their trend of rebooting everything. And so give me in 1 minute, give me your thoughts on Netflix rebooting She-Ra. And I'm giving them 1 minute because I'm out of time. I have to go pick up my son.
So I just gotta wait for it. That I'm just gonna leave it at that. I gotta see some teaser trailers or something.
Okay. Well then let me flip this on you. Have you seen the images for Thundercats Roar?
Yes, I have seen the images.
Okay, give me one word.
Not what I expected. That's not one word. Unexpected. There you go.
Unexpected. Okay.
Underwhelming, I guess. I wasn't.
I'm going to say trash.
I wasn't. I wasn't blown away.
It looks like Steven Universe playing cosplay. It looks like trash.
I was trying to be nice.
It be nice. It looks like straight trash.
Somebody's got to be nice on the podcast.
No, that's not today. You don't mess with Thundercats, okay? Some things you just need to leave alone. Thundercats is one of them things. Leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see something done because it's just because it's nostalgia and history, and me.
They did one in 2011, and people. Not as many people watched it, but they didn't market it well either. But when you take Steven Universe art and you pretty much put some Thundercats adage to it, and you make it look goofy and campy.
Well, yeah, I don't like that type of animation style. That's why I was like, it was very underwhelming.
I don't mind the style even. The style itself it's fine. It fits.
I don't like that style. It just looks too. It looks too amateurish.
See, I think the style fits Steven Universe because of what it is.
Well, yeah.
But it doesn't fit Thundercats. It doesn't fit anything else. It fits Steven Universe.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's got that amateur. It reminds me of
it got this "we're not trying" look.
Yeah. Like we just threw this together.
I feel that way about Teen Titans Go. It's got this "we're really not trying" look.
Yeah, Teen Titans, Adventure Time.
But we're really not trying.
And I watch all these. Like I watch Adventure Time. I watch Teen Titans. I watch Steven Universe. I watch, but yeah, it doesn't fit the Thundercats.
No,
I was expecting when they said Netflix Thundercats reboot, I was expecting Netflix Voltron, like that, like how they redid Voltron. I was expecting.
I'm not like a fan of that, but I'm not a.
I'm not a fan. I mean, I watched it.
Hating on it either. Though.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It's not. It's actually pretty good.
It's okay.
I watched the 2 seasons or whatever, but I was expecting that animation style or something similar.
Something more
mature. Something more to give to the.
Thundercats was pretty mature for its time as well.
Yeah, and then also to who are you pitching this to? Because it's not to the kids.
No.
Because they never even heard of She-Ra unless they got parents like us.
Right, exactly. like, come on, you're gonna read. Yeah, I know. Okay, well,
but
waiting for. We know Thundercats. You're being nice on. I'm not. I'm keeping 100.
I'm not being nice. I want it to be better, and that's why I was okay. I'm nice.
You're being nice. You're being nice.
I'm nice.
That's what we got to keep the balance. We need today's being nice, y'all. We got to keep the balance. I ain't being nice.
Y'all tell us what y'all think in the comments. Please shoot us some emails.
Tell me if I'm being too harsh. Just please, because I don't think I'm being too harsh. I think it looks like straight trash. But again,
hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Tell us what you guys think.
Yes, add Jeek Nation on all of those.
I'll add Jeek Nation on all of those.
And for our updates, for our new videos, our new content, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the little bell to get notifications.
Right.
We love to hear. We appreciate you following and listening. Please hit us up with the comments.
Yes.
On all the aforementioned, social media platforms. We appreciate you listening. And as always, peace.
Peace.
Yeah.